Hey, Dr. Huntington here, and today I'll give you some simple guidelines when it comes to choosing a probiotic supplement. Now, high-quality probiotic is one of the products that's on the short list that I basically recommend for just about everybody. You know, because the health of your gut goes way beyond your digestive system. In fact, it's critical for your overall health. The better shape your gut is in terms of healthy bacteria, the less likely you are to develop diseases, and the more likely you are to live a longer life with quality years. You can get some probiotics through your diet, for example, by eating fermented foods and raw dairy products, but most people are not eating fermented foods at all. And the dairy products they might eat are usually not organic. And they're likely pasteurized, which kills any bacteria, including the good stuff. And even if you're getting probiotics in some of your food, there are so many aspects of modern living that damage your gut microbiome. So including the right probiotic supplement is a very good idea. And I should probably, define the term microbiome. I mean, that basically is referring to the collection of microorganisms that live in your gut. In a healthy state, most of those will be the ones that are supposed to be living there. And they help keep you healthy. In an unhealthy state, if your microbiome is damaged, then the balance of healthy versus unhealthy microorganisms living there will be off. In other words, you'll have too many of the bad ones and not enough of the good ones. Now, it doesn't take much to disrupt your microbiome, like a sugary meal, not enough sleep, too many nights in a row, a round of antibiotics will do it, or even skipping out on regular exercise can do it as well. So here's what to look for when choosing a probiotic supplement. Always choose a reputable brand, and look at the label. It'll usually say proprietary blend and then list which probiotic cultures are present. Some probiotics, they specialize in boosting your health in certain ways. So you want several strands, to get a wider range of benefits. I'll usually want to take a probiotic supplement with at least 5 strains, or I'll rotate probiotics that contain different strains. Now, when choosing which probiotics to use, there are certain strains that you want to include, simply because they're known for certain health benefits, or they support certain functions in your body. And we'll take a look up here. You can see I've got about 8 of them here listed or so. And these are by no means all of them or necessarily the best ones, but these are key ones. You want to make sure whatever probiotic you're taking probably have several of these, right? So Lactobacillus acidophilus. And now there are different strains, and the one that is best researched would be DDS-1. And I mean, that's known for helping with digestive health and helps to improve immune response. So that'd be a key one. Lactobacillus casei helps with immune response and serotonin levels. And so here you can see, the research showing that it helps with serotonin levels is part of that gut-brain connection, right? A healthy gut helps to maintain a healthy brain. And then you have plantarum, which helps with your inflammatory response and making sure that you don't get an overactive inflammatory response. A lot of the main diseases people want to avoid these days, the root of that is inflammation. And then you have salivarius, which helps with immune response and overall gut health. Rhamnosus, which helps with weight management and cholesterol levels. I mean, these are things that most people don't think of when they think of gut health and probiotics, right? But there's research showing that these strains actually help with those things. And then you have Lactobacillus brevis, which helps with immune response and inflammation again. And then we move to Bifidobacterium lactis, which helps with inflammatory response and allergies. You can see several of these help to influence inflammation. And so it starts to make sense when you realize that the gut health of people in general, for the most part over the entire population, is really poor compared to 100 years ago for a lot of different reasons. That we have this explosion of diseases where inflammation is really at the base of it. Another one is Bifidobacterium longum, which helps with your stress response, and then Bifidobacterium bifidum, which helps with your blood sugar. I mean, who would have thought that probiotics and your gut microbiome are going to be influencing your blood sugar? But there's a definite connection. And then we go with Streptococcus thermophilus, which helps with your skin, your immune system. And this is an interesting one because it helps with develop your microbiome overall. And the way it does it is it actually helps by helping all these others really thrive. So when you take your probiotics, flip the label over, or when you're deciding which ones to buy, and these are many of the ones that you probably want to see. Okay, so the next thing that you need to be aware of is what is called the CFU count. And CFU stands for colony forming units. And this tells you how many live cultures there are in the product. Now, a CFU is usually listed as a total count, for all the strains in the product. But sometimes it'll be noted for each individual strain, which, in my opinion, is preferable, so that you know exactly how much of, each that you're getting in the product. You want to look for a total CFU that is at least 25 billion per serving. Now, these are supposed to be live organisms, right? But CFU can actually decline between the time it's manufactured and when you actually go ahead and take the supplement. And there's lots of reasons for that. And how probiotics are stored can dictate whether they'll actually make it into your gut or not. And that's one of the reasons why you want no less than a CFU of 25 billion. It kind of gives you some room there, if you lose a bunch of them between the point of manufacturing and the point when you actually get them. Some live cultures require refrigeration, and this makes them vulnerable to being destroyed before they even make it to your gut. Like when you consider all the likely stops between the manufacturing facility and then the store where you actually buy them, in trucks and warehouses and planes or container ships or whatever it might be, and of course, you won't know if it's been refrigerated properly all the way along that route. So if you can, choose one that's shelf stable and doesn't require refrigeration. Now, another category of gut support food that you should be aware of is actually called prebiotics. Prebiotics are non-digestible plant fiber that actually feeds the microorganisms in your gut so they can thrive. So you won't digest this material, but the microorganisms in your gut will consume it. Prebiotics occur naturally in foods like garlic, chicory root, asparagus, and banana. Now, I've included some less common, high-quality prebiotic sources in my product called Leaky Gut Support. And these include arabinogalactin and Jerusalem artichoke extract. And you can read about these prebiotics at BodyManual.com. Now, these prebiotics work with the probiotics in that product, Leaky Gut Support, to fully support your microbiome and support the healing of a damaged gut lining. Now, there's so much more that we could cover about the topic of probiotics, and it's an important topic, so we'll do that in future videos. Until then, make sure to include foods in your diet that naturally provide probiotics. Some good sources would be sauerkraut, kimchi, pickles, kefir. And for those that don't do well on dairy, there are more and more non-dairy kefir showing up in the grocery store. So look out for those. Some other probiotic foods are natto, miso soup, and kombucha tea. And make sure to include some prebiotic foods as well. You can get prebiotics from, as I mentioned earlier, garlic or chicory root and asparagus. In addition to those foods, find a probiotic supplement that you can include in your supplement regimen. It's one of the key supplements that just about everybody should be taking. All right, hopefully you know a little more about probiotics, and I'll see you in the next video.